One of the biggest challenges that a lot of brands face is what is called as the brand delivery gap. So it's this gap between what the brand promises and what it actually delivers. Now, as a business owner, as a brand owner, as a founder, you do know the importance of delivering a quality product or service, right? But, and you might be thinking that you are indeed delivering a quality product or service within the limits, within the scope of your market segment, of your brand, of your suppliers, or the raw materials, the ingredients, or if it's a service that you're providing, then the people that are providing that service, right? Within that kind of scope, you believe that you are producing the right kind of quality and delivering the right kind of promise, right? You're delivering good on your promise. But did you know that falling short of that promise, delivering less than what has been promised, is one of the fundamental challenges of any brand? And it is the biggest one that small businesses, small to medium businesses face. And they look at marketing campaigns and think that by changing marketing campaigns, by coming up with new marketing campaigns, they can actually overcome this gap without knowing that a gap exists. So it's very important to know that there is this gap and what to do about it. Because you might think, okay, yes, there might be a gap, but how is that going to affect marketing, right? How is that going to affect the kind of people or the number of customers coming into the business? Actually, there is. Because in this day and age, right? Now, I hate saying that, but it is true. In this day and age, with online social media, with the kind of reputation, even if people don't leave positive comments or positive reviews about your business, about your service or your product, the very fact that they don't leave any reviews at all, whether they are positive or negative, actually means that there could be a gap. Of course, if they're leaving negative reviews, then it's very apparent, right? And you will do something to rectify it. But when people are not leaving reviews at all, they're not talking about your brand, then what happens? That is where you need to start thinking about whether there's a brand delivery gap and what to do about it. To tackle this, first we need to look at what's in a brand, right? Now, the typical definition of a brand goes something like this. It is the some physiological impact you make on customers, and it's the relationship you build with them. Now, of course, this sounds fine on paper, right? But what does it actually mean? What is it to have a strong brand, right? Why does it matter? Now, you could say that your brand is your voice. It is the representation of your company, product, or service. So, what is required? Building a brand is a long-term effort consisting of several stages, though there is no specific sequence that you must follow. You need a few things, few important things. The first one is value proposition. You must know where your product stands in the market and what makes it different and why it's superior, if it is, or why it is not superior, if it isn't, right? Your pricing should reflect your value, but it should also be in line with what the market is willing to pay. Next, innovation. To build a powerful brand, you need to bring something new to the market. McDonald's didn't invent the burger, but they did introduce an innovative drive-through system that allowed customers to order tasty food faster. Next is creativity. Everything about branding demands creativity. If you don't have it, you will need to hire someone who does. Monitoring. Your brand is a living thing, existing in the headspace of your customers and the general public. It changes over time and you will need to keep tabs on it. What do people really think about you, your product, and your company? And finally, customer service. This last one goes without saying, but to build an immense brand, you will need amazing customer service. This becomes more important as competition enters the marketplace. Even if you have an innovative product and you're the first to market, you will need to treat your customers with respect. Now, a lot of people think that they have great customer service, but no, they don't. They don't have respect. And respect is what customers look for. Yeah, they look for a quality service, they look for a quality product, they look for good customer service, but what they're really looking for in terms of customer service is respect. And if you don't have that, then you're falling short. How do you build a robust brand, right? Before we get to the brand delivery gap, let's look at how a robust brand is built. Brand building is hard work done over time. It involves a multitude of activities, but we do have a few general steps. The first thing is to describe your brand. Who are you? What do you sell? Okay, a product or a service, but how is your product better than the closest competitors? Not in terms of just features, but emotionally. Where does it stand? Describe that. Now, for example, consider Nike. Early on, they could have pinned everything on their shoes as the superior product. But through clever marketing and brand building, they created a legacy, right? So they don't just sell shoes, they sell an ego boost. For decades, sporting a pair of Nike sneakers on the court has meant something beyond just sneakers, right? Beyond just trainers. They became a status symbol. They became something that represents who you are, your attitude, and so on and so forth. Number 2, position yourself. Once you know what you're selling, the next step is to differentiate yourself from everyone else. McDonald's focuses on quick service at a low price. Chick-fil-A positions itself as the option for high-quality fast food. That goes same for Taco Bell, Chipotle, and so on. Now, at the end of the day, they all sell, most of them sell similar food. Yeah, of course, they're different kind of recipes, it's different taste and so on, but it's fast food, right? But they position themselves differently. Therein lies the key. They're telling their customers a story about who they are and what to expect from them. Number 3, promote your brand, right? Promote yourself. This involves, predictably, advertising yourself online, maybe in TV, radio, print, but now it's more about social media, right? It's getting there and just broadcasting yourself. So many companies are embracing creative online advertising initiations such as social media marketing and content marketing. These techniques call for a lower upfront investment but take longer to pay dividends. Now you know that, right? Yet, depending on your niche or industry, content marketing in particular can be an extremely effective means of brand building. Just ask HubSpot, Buffer, or Rip Curl. It's a surfing gear company, right? These companies know how to do effective brand building online. Number 4, personalize. The more your customers feel connected to your brand, the more effective your brand building will be. So you must humanize your brand. Remind your customers every now and then that your product is produced by real human beings and you take pride in your work, in your product, in your service. So this could be about a strong About Us page, or it could be about team-based or human-based stories that you tell online. Number 5, evaluate. Finally, you want to review the performance of your product or service. Continual evaluation and review is essential to brand building. Next is the importance of visual branding. Now, The entire marketing effort online is based on visuals, right? It's visuals. Yes, there is content, but more and more people are reading less and less online. They're watching videos. They're consuming visual content more than the written content, right? Now, don't get me wrong. The written content is very important. You need to write stuff, words. So you need to become a wordsmith or hire someone who can write for your brand. Everything from the words on your website, the About Us page, the product descriptions, the service description, to your blog, the kind of articles that your brand produces. It's all based on writing. It also translates to online. A lot of people think, oh, social media marketing means, it's not really the written word. Yes, it is the written word. The word comes first, but then it all depends on the visual branding. How does your logo look? How is your brand identity? Is it consistent? Does it communicate what your brand is about? Does it connect with your target audience? Does it tell the right kind of story, right? Is it kind of creating this emotional kind of bond with your customers? What about your campaigns? You might have a clever campaign, but your visual graphics might fall short, right? Your videos might end up looking unprofessional, shoddy, or your banners on Instagram, for example, your photos and the kind of images you post may not really tell your customers, tell your target audience what kind of a brand you are, where you stand, what you mean, what you believe in, right? How serious you are about your brand. This is very important. Creativity is at the root of all success. And for brands, visual language is fundamental. It is really critical. Next, your brand needs to have a promise, right? A brand promise. Now, a brand promise is what you make to not only your customers, but also potential customers and the world at large. So you are saying, this is our brand and this is the promise we make to you. It's a promise about not just your product and service, but about every facet of your brand, every touch point. It's about the promise being delivered online. It's when they encounter an article, when they encounter a video, when they encounter a visual, right? And of course, when they encounter your product or service. And a brand promise really should be derived from your brand strategy. It's not something arbitrary. It's not something you just decide, but rather it should be crafted. First, of course, comes the kind of purpose. Then on top of that comes the vision. And the vision is, on top of that comes the mission. The mission actually is something that, it's a way to translate your vision. And your vision is, of course, derived from your purpose. So these are all stacked. And once you have your mission, then from that comes the brand promise. Now you could have several different brand promises, right? It's not just one brand promise. You could have just one brand promise. For example, Zappos, right? They have a single brand promise, which is excellent customer service. That's all it is. They're not even talking about their products, their vision, their mission. Everything is centered around providing great customer service. Now, they say customer service is not just about the service that customers experience when they're buying a product or when they have a problem with their product, but it is about everything to do with their brand. They consider that as their customer service, right? That's their brand promise. Okay, if you look at our brand, right? My brand, Spell Brand. I'm one of the founders of this brand, right? Our brand promise is education. Even though we are a branding agency, it's not about creating great brands, which, yeah, well, we do create great brands. It's not about the visual identities that we create. It's not about the strategies that we create. It's not about the positioning that we create. It's not about the success we enable our clients to get, right? No, it's more about sharing knowledge, educating our target audience. That's our brand promise. So our brand promise comes through at every stage of our interaction with us. It comes through on our website. There's a huge portion of our website where we sort of showcase our work, we showcase our clients, our projects, and so on. But a larger portion of our website is where we share knowledge. We're talking about how to build better brands, how to improve your brand, how to make sure that your brand delivers to the target audience. Just like this video. This is what I'm doing right now. I'm delivering on our brand promise, my brand promise, which is to share knowledge, right? So this is a great example. And it's not a marketing piece. I'm actually proud of this. And I put a lot of time and effort into making that brand promise a reality. So let's now talk about the brand delivery gap that we started this video with, right? So once you build this brand and you have sort of set up a brand promise, you need to deliver on it. It's not just about thinking that you're producing a high quality product. It's not about thinking that you're producing a high quality service. Quality is subjective. Sometimes it's actually arbitrary, right? When you don't have benchmarks, X might seem like a top quality product. But then when you see something else that is even higher quality, then X loses the status of the quality, right? So trying to stand on the laurels of saying that, yes, we produce top quality product or service is not really your brand promise. Your brand promise should go beyond that. Producing top quality product and service is a given. It is fundamental. It is a core promise. Let's call that a core promise, right? It is a promise that you need to make irrespective of what happens. It is a promise that you start with. But a brand promise goes beyond that. And when you don't deliver on that promise, there is a gap. And this is why a lot of brands struggle to penetrate the market, to get over the competition, right? To create long-term, loyal target customers. They're always struggling. They're always running. They're going for short-term marketing measures, campaigns to try and get customers. While they're forgetting that by building a kind of a robust brand promise and delivering on that brand promise, they will get more customers, more loyal customers, and be able to be better than the competition who are not even aware of the gap. So start today. Analyze your company. Analyze your brand. Look at what your brand promise is. If there isn't one, create a brand promise. But before you create a brand promise, go back. Look at your purpose, the purpose of your brand. Look at the vision. What is your vision? What is the vision for the brand, right? And the mission statement. So create those first. And on top of that, create a brand promise. Of course, if your brand promise is about high quality product or service, so be it, right? I'm not saying that that should not be. I'm just saying that that should be the DNA of the company, whereas a brand promise just goes beyond that, right? So look for things that your target audience cares about, right? And make those part of your brand promise. And sometimes it could align with your product or service, sometimes maybe not. And that is what a lot of big brands out there are doing. A lot of the kind of promises that a lot of these big brands are making to their target audience sometimes don't really sit well with the product or service that they're selling, so to speak, right? And yet they're doing it because they're trying to create an emotional connection with their target audience. So that is very important. So brand delivery gap is something that you need to be aware of. It's not to be confused with quality delivery gap, right? Quality delivery gap is something else. This is a brand delivery gap. Now, I've written an in-depth article on this, and it's made up of most of the things that I spoke about on this video, but I will leave a link below. Go check it out. It's It's an in-depth kind of article on what brand delivery gap is, with some examples. I think I mentioned Kodak, Nike, a few different case studies, and how they're approaching it, and if they fell short, how they solved it, and so on and so forth. I would recommend you check out that video. And if you have any questions about this, please leave them below and I will try and answer them. And if you're new to this channel, subscribe and click on the bell icon so that the next video, when it comes out, you will be informed. And my aim, my brand promise, is to help you on your journey building a robust brand, a brand that is away from the red ocean and is in the blue ocean, is a brand that your customers, your target audience will love and respect, because you're not just doing what is just minimum required, but you're going beyond. Okay, that is my brand promise. And if you have questions, yeah, let me know. Till my next video, take care.